And this is perfect. It's an MS70 PMint, first day of issue, limited edition, emergency Silver Eagle. Now, Mike, for those of us who've been with you for a long time, we know the Silver Eagle is one of the most collectible bullions in the world. What makes this one really exciting tonight?
Well, you know, it's all part of current events.
Yes.
What happened is because of, things going on in the world, obviously, everybody knows what's going on. There were some issues at the West Point Mint. So for the very first time in history, the United States had to shut down the West Point Mint. Now, the West Point Mint, a lot of people aren't familiar with it, but that's where they make all the American Eagle silver bullion coins, okay, the regular American Silver Eagle coin. And they said, okay, well, they shut down the West Point Mint. Nobody really necessarily cared about that. But then they announced that because they were so far behind, because the 2020 Eagle, you and I have talked about this, we sold it in the Today Special back in January. Remember, the United States Mint is changing the design of the American Silver Eagle in 2020. So, I mean, it is an absolutely titanic event in its own right from a numismatic standpoint, given that this is the last year. So the 2020 Eagle is a transition coin. The 2020 Eagle is a legacy coin by itself. And so they were so far behind, the Philadelphia Mint did what they could to, in essence, chip in. The problem with that is in the 10 days that the West Point Mint was shut down, the Philadelphia Mint could only put together and make 240,000 coins.
Oh, wow.
Because they made them, in essence, manually.
Wow.
They packaged them manually. Somebody came up and figured this out, and so through Freedom of Information Act request, asked the United States Mint, what was going on. And the United States Mint sent out a letter, a copy of which you have there. Now, I don't think we're sending copies of that letter with each coin. Now, we could be, but I don't think we are. I just put it up there so you could see it.
Right.
And I want to spend just a second kind of reading this and then kind of put a numismatic point to it. This is the key to this. So this was only done for 10 days at Philadelphia. These are first day of issues. We're calling them emergency strikes. Okay, emergency production, because the Philadelphia Mint chipped in for basically a week and a half. So here's the letter from the United States Mint. In light of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, the United States Mint has temporarily reduced production in the facilities in order to reduce the risk of employees' exposure to COVID-19. The health and safety of the Mint workforce remains our highest priority. Typically, American Eagle silver bullion coins are minted at the West Point Mint facility. However, due to the reduced production from April 8th until April 20th, the United States Mint of Philadelphia produced 240,000 American Eagle silver bullion coins. These 2020 American Eagle silver coins minted in Philadelphia, and here's where it gets important, were all packaged manually. Okay? They were shipped in so-called monster boxes, the big green monster boxes, each of which contains 25 tubes of 20 coins for a total of 500 coins. These monster boxes were affixed with a typed label containing the box tracking number. They were handwritten directly on the boxes. Box tracking numbers 400,000 through 400,489, to give you an idea how rare they are, were used on the boxes. They do not sell these coins directly to the public. They have to go through these APs. They are also homogeneous coins, which means they technically are not supposed to tell the difference between the coins. That's why having them certified that you see right here is so critically important, because these coins can only be purchased certified. Because for all of the companies that are grading these coins, whether it be Annex, of course, first day of issue exclusive to us here at HSN, whether it be NGC, whether it be PCGS, whether it be ICG, it does not matter. They are all using the same standard to grade these. They must get that sealed, handwritten, hand-typed, hand-lettered box directly from one of the authorized purchasers of the United States Mint to be able to certify the coins and put them in the holders as you see right here. We learned of this early and basically gathered every single solitary coin we could get our hands on. As best I can tell, we've been able to get 10 to 15% of every coin that supposedly was made by the Philadelphia Mint. By that I mean people could have opened up boxes and not had them at a grading company, and if they're opened up, then they can't be certified. The grading company has to get the certified box.
And they have to be untouched.
We got them early.
Well, and they have to be untouched. And here's what's interesting, Mike. There's no mint mark.
That's correct.
So once
that's
you
why
open
they
it
have to
up,
be certified.
once you open it up, you can't prove this is that unique week-and-a-half window where they moved the making of these coins from West Point to Philly. So there's no mint mark, and once it's opened up, there's no way anybody can say it's a Philadelphia minted coin.
That's precisely, exactly 100% the case. So you have this incredibly tiny mintage. Now you have to understand the 2020 coin is the most popularly collected silver eagle in the history of the U.S. Mint. Because remember, they're changing the design after 35 years. So this is an important coin regardless of whether it's emergency production or anything else. So it's tremendously collectible, and that's why the Mint at Philadelphia had to try to help as best it could. As best I can tell, the United States Mint is somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 million eagles behind.
Oh, geez.
So even the 240,000 made by the Philadelphia Mint helped a little, but it's literally a drop in the bucket. Right. The United States government this year is probably going to make, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 million American silver eagles because it's so popular. And out of that, this tiny fraction, this tiny extra bit from the Philadelphia Mint is what you're seeing right here. Now, here's the thing, and I want to bottom line this. I've been doing this, as well you know, for a very, very, very long time.
Yes.
I have never seen a coin that has had this level of interest collectability. It is on fire in the marketplace.
Right.
And I know, we have 2,347 coins. I believe we'll sell all of those today. Our price is spectacular. Our price will go up in the future. We'll have these in the future. They will be more money. Already, as I'm out, I just talked to a friend of mine, one of the biggest dealers in the industry. He says the boxes are gone. The boxes are
kidding.
Gone. Prices have to go up. And I said, well, I don't know. I know that we bought a bunch, and we're going to do this for right now, for today, for as long as we can. You have to understand. Now, the only other thing that even comes close to this is the 2015 Philadelphia Mint coin, the last time, in essence, that the Philadelphia Mint kicked in and helped. I think you remember that coin. You and I sold that coin.
Absolutely. Now, did that have the mint mark on it?
100,000 of those.
Mike, did that have
the $4,000 coin?
Did that have the mint mark on it or not?
No.
So they still don't mark it.
This one.
Okay.
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 Philadelphia helped out. There was a huge demand again. All right, but it was much longer. And that coin is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, thousands. I think if we have it on hsn.com, it's probably, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So what you have with this is not only this emergency production, okay, that is just part and parcel of current events that we have right here, but I've got a price that is affordable at $289.95. And that's what's happened. We have already, even before we started airing this here tonight, already it was immensely popular. It was incredibly popular on hsn.com.
Sure.
And so I'm sorry.
No, I'm sure everybody's looking for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They have to. And here's the secondary story. Now, here comes the numismatic story, okay? Remember I told you how they were, in essence, manufactured by hand? They were boxed by hand. Everything was a manual process.
Right.
Well, that creates a significant issue with the grade.
Oh, of course.
Mint State 70s of these are incredibly, incredibly difficult to get.
What's the percentage, Mike? What's the percentage of it?
Half or a third of the regular American silver.
I was going to say, what is the percentage you're finding that they're grading perfect?
Maybe, if we're lucky, 20%.
Wow, no kidding.
Out of luck. Now, remember, we're only starting in a world of 240,000 coins.
Right.
So if we do that, there's less than 100,000 Mint State 70s in existence.
Wow.
So these annex coins, just the annex coins I have right here, represent 2.5% of all of the Mint State 70s in existence. Oh. Already, we have heard of stories of, the shortages, the boxes, the original boxes are gone. Already, they're starting to trade for huge multiples in the secondary market. This is our original price.
Right.
Okay, you're never going to see me sell these for less, and I can absolutely guarantee at some point you're going to see me selling these for more. Already in the marketplace. I had calls just before the show. People saying, oh, by the way, I got to, there's $50 more, $75 more, $80 more, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's where we're at on this. That's the important thing, is all American Eagle coins are minted at West Point. This tiny little fraction for this 10-day period were made at Philadelphia. That's crucially important to collectability, and they have to be certified. Now, understand these are still the 2020 Eagle. You know, the 2020 Silver Eagle, Suzanne, that you and I sold, what, 15,000 of on January 1st?
Yep.
Because they're changing the design. So now you have a coin that in and of itself is collectible and desirable. Like I said, it's a transition coin. It's a legacy coin. It's the bookend coin because they're changing the design next year in 2021. That makes it incredibly collectible. And now you have this little itty bitty, teeny tiny slice of the most popular Silver Eagle of all time that's made at the Philadelphia Mint.
Right.
That we have first day of issue that is certified absolutely perfect, Mint State 70. Folks, this is, and of course comes in the red ink presentation box. It is 100% exclusive to us here at HSN. You put all of this together and you have collectability on an entirely, on a level I have never seen. We've sold 15 Ps, we've had we've had, you know, the baseball coins, we're gonna have everything else. I have never, ever, ever seen a coin that has had the buzz, the collectability, and the desirability because it has the uniqueness of the last year of issue of the Silver Eagle. You've got the incredible collectability, this teeny tiny production that's from the Philadelphia Mint, and then added in to the most collectible Silver Eagle in the history of the United States Mint because it's the end of the series. That they're changing it in 2021. All of those things together. Now, if we had to sell this at $1,000 or $1,500 or something, who knows where this is going to go to, I would understand. But for us to be able to bring this out at only $289.95 with the red oak presentation box, that is what adds to phenomenal, incredible collectability and desirability.
Well, and you know, Mike, let me add something else too, guys. This is so unique for sure. We have 4 flex pays on it, which means you can pay it off in 4 months. But here's the really cool part. Unlike most of the time that I'm on with Mike, we're in a 90-day return policy. So what you want to do is you've got 3 months to watch this. You get it at home. You don't have 3 months to get it, but you get it tonight. You have 3 months to kind of ride along with this and see what's happening. Because number one, Mike, I'd be surprised if most of the numismatic world even knew this happened. Number two, don't be fooled by anybody else. People will try to sell you this special emergency coin minted at Philadelphia, but if it doesn't come packaged like this, you better beware because you will be fooled. Because there's such providence, as you talk about, in terms of getting it directly to the grading companies, completely packaged, untouched. They can't unsnap the little thing that goes around the green box before they grade them. It all has to happen right there so they can give you the history of it, so thus you can have these marks. It's such a big deal because we know in the coin collecting world, people will
monster box directly.
Right, directly.
It has to go directly.
Right.
To
unopened.
to the grading service.
Yes, unopened, untouched, I mean, other than moving it, but they cannot open it up. They cannot snap the little, what do you call the band around it or whatever it is?
Just security band. I mean, you know, that's wrapped in the box. They have to be the specific boxes. There's only 480 boxes in existence of the
That's crazy.
400,000 boxes that they've made. Do the math there.
Right.
And they're back to making them at West Point Mint again.
Right.
Now you have to understand so here's the other thing. So go out there right now, just the regular 2020 American Silver Eagle, forget about the Philadelphia Mint, forget about that, just the regular West Point Minted American Silver Eagle is on back order from the United States Mint from the authorized purchaser.
Is it really?
It does not sell regular Mint State Eagles directly to the public. It only goes to these authorized purchasers, right?
Right.
So there's not even the regular Eagle, let alone this coin. The regular Silver Eagle we have coming up here in a little bit or tonight is $99 and we're sold out. I mean, you know, we're just keep trying to restock. The regular Silver Eagle is selling at premiums I've never seen.
Right.
Now add in and take a coin that's this special that was only done this because they basically had to shut down the West Point Mint, which they've never done before. And only this tiny fraction of these coins, only this tiny fraction. And for us to have 2,347, I mean, we literally spent millions of dollars.
Right.
to go out and buy every single solitary coin. We heard about this early. As soon as we got that, it's absolutely amazing.
But Mike, this becomes...
As soon as we got that information, we were all over it. As soon as we got that information, we bought every single coin. Already, the wholesale prices, the box prices have gone up substantially, significantly in the marketplace, and it's only a matter of time before that's reflected in what's going to happen in the coin itself. And then on top of it, the grading percentages are so tiny. We bought thousands and thousands and thousands and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of these coins, okay? And out of all of that, we ended up with 2,347.
Yeah, well, and I've got to say, what to me is amazing, Mike,
original issue price. But you need, I think we'll sell all 2,347 today.
Right. Oh, I completely agree. Because you got to remember, this is a subset of a subset of a subset. And when it gets down to that many subsets and it has this kind of a lineage to it, you absolutely don't want to wait. Here's the thing. If you're watching right now and you're like, oh my gosh, Mike sounds excited, this is a really, really big deal in the coin world, in the collecting world. Because number one, Mike, when has there ever been this kind of an emergency situation in the history of the US? I mean, there's been major events, but hopefully nothing like this happens again. And if it does, it might be something completely different. So it gives this time period and this coin such a unique, interesting, and almost fascinating story about his existence. You know, there's never been an
emergency like this.
Right, never.
The Philadelphia Mint in 2015 chipped in and helped make a few coins.
Right.
But it wasn't an emergency.
But wasn't that based on demand?
Yeah, they just had a week of downtime or something, and they just made some silver eagle.
Right.
They had a die there or whatever it was.
Right.
But this was specific. The West Point Mint was shut down. And in 2015 when this happened, like I said, the West Point Mint was still pumping out coins. Okay, there was just this tremendous demand. Not as big as 2020, but there was a big demand. So the Philadelphia Mint made some of them. But like I said, look for those 2015 Philadelphia Mint coins. In 70, you're looking at a coin that's anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000. I think the last batch we sold was $4,000 for a 70.
Wow.
You know, when we had them, and we haven't had them for a year or more. This coin is of that significance in terms of being a supplemental mint, but the reason and why it was a supplemental mint is even more important, is even more collectible, is even more desirable. But the big point about this is because we were able to find out relatively early before almost anybody else, and we were able to secure quantity that amounts to probably 20% of the entire mintage. Okay, I'm assuming by the time we're all said and done, we'll have locked up, me and all my, people that we're doing this with, 50,000 coins. You know, 50 or 60,000 of the coins, because we were able to do that, and because of that, I can do $289.
Right.
If I wouldn't have done that, if literally I would buy the coins today instead of last week, our price would be $389.
Right.
Okay, and if I buy them next week, they could well be, I might have to charge $489 because we are so far ahead of the curve on this.
Right.
Remember, and we can show the ladder at some point again to show why that the United States Mint, they made the announcement. We know exactly what happened. We know exactly what happened, that the United States Mint had to shut down the Philadelphia Mint, the West Point Mint, and Philadelphia kicked in for basically 10 days. The important part is that they did this manually. They manually packaged the coins and everything else, which does not lead, anytime they have to handle the coins, it does not lead to coins that grade in its high grade, absolutely perfect grade, Mint State 70.
Right.
Look, even the Mint State 69, 68, anything even graded genuine is absolutely one of the most collectible coins of our generation.
Good point.
There's only 240,000 in existence in any way.
In any condition.
Right.
In any condition whatsoever. And here's the thing. Why you can get 70, get 70. I'm about to show you a 69, and yes, it's less expensive, but if you can swing it, especially with our 4 flex pays, you always want to get the 70. That's the one you want to invest in if you can swing it. We will have the 69. I've got it in my little hand. We'll talk about it for about a minute. And yeah, it's right around $99. But the significance between the 69 to a 70 on the rarity of this coin, under the circumstance that it was minted, makes this one of the most collectible coins that, quite frankly, Mike, I think you brought on in a long time.
Well, I think I have to be honest with you. As I said, I believe it is the most collectible coin that I have ever sold.
Wow.
I know that is what's happening in the marketplace. I know that's exactly what's going on in the marketplace, that as everybody, and you pointed this out earlier, not everybody even knows this coin exists. There wasn't a big press release or anything like that. We had, in essence, information. We were at the forefront of the information of what was involved with this. That's the key to this. And so we were able to get these coins early, and we were able to get them at the right price. And already, like I said, box prices are up 20%, 30%, 40%. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crucial for you to understand what your opportunity is here. So not only do we have an end of the era, so in other words, the United States government is ending the 2020. So the 2020 American Silver Eagle by itself is ridiculously, incredibly, phenomenally collectible. Right. And we'll talk about that because they're changing the design for next year. They've never done that. They can't do that again for 25 years, right?
Right.
So the collectability of this is absolutely insane in terms of just it being a 2020 Eagle. Now you've got this tiny little closure where the Philadelphia Mint went in and made this a fractional, minuscule quantity of American Silver Eagles. Of American Silver Eagles. They've made that, and so look at this quantity, okay? How many of these we've sold. Now remember, I'm debuting this here today. It is critical for you to understand exactly what your opportunity is at this pricing. Absolutely. It is one of the single most important coins that the United States government has ever made, in my opinion, because it's reflective of, in essence, current events. But then from a collectible standpoint, right. Now you have something that's entirely something else. From a collectible standpoint, you have something that is unique because of the final year of issue. The fact that this is Mint State 70, and since they're hand-done coins, they're representative. The United States Mint could make 80 million coins this year. 240,000 of them will be from Philadelphia. And of that, in Mint State 70, there's not going to be even 100,000 coins. There's no possible way there's going to be 100,000 coins.
That's crazy.
So that's the key to this.
Right.
So you have this opportunity to get in on the most important year of issue of the American Silver Eagle, I think, in many ways, and the most important subset of that Silver Eagle as well. All of that together, like I said, is going to make one of the single most collectible coins that I have ever seen, and the buzz in the marketplace amongst collectors is unlike anything I've ever seen. It is by far and away the most incredible selling and desirable and collectible coin because we've put that in, and at the very beginning, we've made it affordable. And that's the key at $289.95. We've made it affordable.
And Mike, I want to explain one more thing again really quickly because there's a lot of you who are on the line and you're going to .com, and that's absolutely a brilliant idea. You have 90 days. See, you'll know you can ride this out. Usually it's 30 days. So if you're gonna send it back, it's within 30 days and we refund your money, and okay, that's fine. But what's really cool is you get 90 days to go and ride this wave and wait till everyone finds out about it and figure out what's going on with it. And I love that, Mike, because with that 90 days, you can really kind of see the trajectory of where this coin's going to go, considering that most folks don't even know it happened.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's crazy.
Nobody knows yet. What's going to happen when all this hits the general media?
Oh, yeah.
What's going to happen when everybody figures out about this?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen when everybody out there realizes there's a special American Silver Eagle in the most special year of the American Silver Eagle that's certified absolutely perfect, and we've got first day of issue absolutely 100% exclusive to us here at HSN.
Well, and Mike,
those things together.
But Mike, and then you added a very special time. You know, this really critical, bizarre, crazy time we're in. Like, you put all that together, I mean, that's kind of goosebump worthy, you know?
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've got this is our debut. This is our inaugural presentation, okay?
Yeah.
This is our ability for you to come in and be able to get this coin at our original issue price. Folks, like I said, I cannot impress upon you enough the collectability of this coin. The fact that just the 2020 Silver Eagle by itself is phenomenally collectible because it's the end of the year. They're changing the design next year. They haven't changed it since 1986. Now you add this tiny sliver, this minuscule number of coins that, set itself aside. The best of the best of the best of the best is ultimately what this comes down to. And then put that in Mint State 70, and well, you can see what's happening. Look, what are we here? 1:35 Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds of. What's going to happen in the primetime show tonight?
Right.
What's going to happen in the primetime show tonight? You really need to lock in your